night. If you don't have one, you gotta, that's something most times I'm sure wears off at a point because you get into the razzle dazzle. She may be at number 3. That's a major problem. Some women who make more than men, some men cannot psychologically handle that. Will order my steps to do the right things. Now, when we're outside of the will of God,
get started. And you heard Brother Sinclair last night. This is, I think, my 3rd time having the opportunity to be with him. As you saw, he's very powerful. He's definitely a man of God. He brings so much. And even though you got a pretty good taste of him last night, I know he's going to bring you something even more this morning. So I ask that you open your hearts, you open your ears, and you open your minds to Brother Sinclair.
Thank you, Ms. Loving, and what a wonderful, powerful beginning of a testimony that she gave about her experiences in human relations in the Navy, which just tells testament about how her strength has empowered people and continue to empower individuals. Good morning to everyone, and I thank Hype Media Global for giving me an opportunity to be here and giving all of us that opportunity to come to this intimate touch conference. Now, in your program guide, this is called Fresh or Stale, and it's interesting how Trustee led up to the relationship piece. You got to have relationships. You got to communication. That was the last thing she said. So. That's what keeps relationships and marriages where we are. Once again, it's a flashy title, Fresh or Stale. The way I had intended to start off this morning was to talk about how long have you been in your relationship. I'm not just going to say marriages, because every relationship is not a marriage, and every marriage is not a relationship. So my intended way that I was led to go was to talk about 5, 10, 15 years down the line, when you wake up to the same old face, to the same old butt, to the same old, I'm going to be nice because I got children in here, but you see what I'm saying, the same old breath. What makes it different? How do you keep that spice still in the relationship? Well, let me go ahead and tell you my secret, and it don't take me 30 minutes to tell you this. You have to keep dating. The same thing you did to get that man or to get that woman, you have to continue it on. The other secret I go ahead and let out the bag. Normally I would save this to the end for my climax moment. But if he or she is not doing something before you get married, chances are you're not going to get that after you get married. If she couldn't cook beforehand, chances are she's not going to cook after that point. I'm looking at the Dewberry have 4 beautiful children right here, right in front of me. Now, I'm sure at some point they still have a date night. If you don't have one, that's something I want y'all to work on. You gotta have some time still for mom and dad. And that's vital for me. That's vital for me to see you to do that. Now, the couples that are here, all right, in the beginning, I think most of us have not been married that long or have not been in relationships that long. I want to start off, I guess, by saying, how was your marriage, or how was your relationship when it first got started? Would you describe it as being fun, You know, we still on that honeymoon stage at first, you know. So I hope that one day when I do cross that threshold, every day, I could be 80 years old, I still want to be chasing behind my lady. I want to have that much being in love with that person. I want to be that much in tune with that person through God. I want to be that much enthused with being what I know a relationship and a man and wife should be. All right. And I'm sure you have a lot of interpersonal relations when you are fresh starting out. You know, you want it every day, you want it every hour, you want it every lunch break. So those times, I'm sure, wears off at a point because you get into the razzle-dazzle of everyday life. You get into the razzle-dazzle of now you have children to tend to. You have this meeting. You have that meeting. The family does not sit at home, and we don't have regular dinner anymore. Now, I want y'all to tell me how the relationship evolved over time, because that's where the crust of what we're talking about today. In the beginning, you know, I had planned to use maybe like the Garden of Eden when, you know, we always see Adam and Eve, but if you know, Eve was there with Adam, and of course came out of the rib. So it's not like that Eve was this as bad a person that we make her to seem to be. Yay for the women. But as you'll hear me in the next few minutes say, but it's something about that fruit that she ate, something about that fruit that she gave. We have to be careful what fruits we give to people. We have to be careful what oil we give off to people, what fragrance that we give. I heard Sister Peggy Moore say last night that her husband bought a carrot cake home. And next time he bought her a carrot cake recipe because that's for her to do, you know. And those kind of things we got to know. You got to know your mate. You got to know what turns them on. Got to know what turns them off. You got to know what excites them. We got to know what spot gets them going. If it's kissing her ear, or if it's rubbing his head, whatever it is that turns your mate on, that's what you got to do. Because if you ain't doing it, hello somebody else will. Am I right about it? All right. Now, I want y'all to talk back to me for a minute. Now, what are some of the problems? It ain't just for me to lecture to you today. I want you to tell me. I mean, because you're living it. I can only give you theory and the practice based on what the God given me and what the books are telling me and what I've experienced in my short life. It's not so much razzle-dazzle in the beginning and all live happily ever after. It's not a fairy tale. I want to be practical with you. And you know, some stuff I won't really say because we do have children in the room, but with the Dewberry's permission, I will push it a little bit, all right? All right. In this time together today, we're going to talk about keeping the spark in a relationship or to get the spark back in your marriage. We're going to talk honestly, think introspectively, and have some fun. So this is how we get started. Now, some kind of way, all marriages have to start off in balance, all right? You have to be synced. You have to be equally yoked. That's the number one failure to me. Most of us are not equally yoked with our partner. You know, you may be at number 9, he or she may be at number 3. That's a major problem. Some women who make more than men, some men cannot psychologically handle that. They can't psychologically, hey, don't bother me though. You know, my girl make more than me. Hey, that's just tight for me. It don't bother. That does not demasculate me. You know, that does not make me any less than who I am. And I think we have to face those facts. When the brother last night, Brother Barrion, talked about losing everything, going from 300 pounds down to 190 pounds, he lost a lot there. And it takes a good person to stand behind somebody once they lose a lot. So you have to have a strong bond with God to keep things in balance. Now, every relationship does not have to turn sour. Every relationship does not have to have the highs and lows that we hear in the news. But we all have our secret struggles behind closed doors. Everything that glitters ain't always gold, because why? Everybody gonna have something going on. Everybody's gonna have something, but you don't have to let the obstacles of your past get out. Now let me go ahead and fast forward. I'm really moving very quickly because y'all, number one, y'all not talking back to me. Number two, I just want to hit the pertinent issues. And when things get out of balance, the other piece that bothers me is third-party influences. Well, what are third-party influences? Those friends who give you advice who don't have a man or woman either. Hello. Family members who know about more about your business than what they know about their own. Third-party influence. I'm just trying to keep it real. I guess you say, well, this is not the time of workshop, but those are kind of things that maybe we don't always keep in the forefront of our mind, and it's good for somebody else to say it rather than you go home and tell your spouse or tell your significant other, because they're going to think you're picking on their mama them. There you go. It's not always that, but we have to limit third-party influences because they don't know the situation. They only know what you have told them or what they've been taught, what they've read. You know, everybody don't know your story. Everybody don't know how many sleepless nights you done stayed up with that man or with that woman crying. Nobody don't know how many nights you didn't walk the floor because you're pacing, because you're thinking about the bills are due and the money for the change is straight. Nobody know how many nights you've been on your face laying prostrate before the Lord, praying for him to come home or praying for her to stop doing what she's doing. Nobody knows those things. Nobody don't always know the true meaning of what the relationship can be or cannot result into. Well, once things get in balance, once you get the balance, then we can be like some friends of mine. We could be like Frankie, Beverly, and Mays and have them happy feelings. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I want you to think about that. That's what I want everybody to have today. I want to have happy feelings in your relationship. No one deserves to be sad. No one deserves to walk around with their head down. No one wants to feel like they are less than a man, less than a woman, that your man and woman have to walk ahead of you. They can't walk with you. There was a movie I watched. It was one of the Tyler Perry movies, I believe. And I forgot which one it was, but the sister, y'all remember when she went to get on the plane, she couldn't fit into the seatbelt. Okay, that's what it was. And rather than the brother saying, well, baby, we'll go together, he stayed on the plane and sent her, I think, on some kind of, in a car. Yeah, she had to drive. That's dehumanizing someone. That's not what it is. Now, no matter, I understand, like me, I done gained about 60 pounds since I've been at my new location. So I'm getting bigger, and I'm like, Lord, what's wrong with me? But I want a person to love me for who I am, not for what I look like. Hello, somebody. I want you to love me because I bring something to the table and because I love the Lord more than I love anything more than how I physically look. But come on, I understand some of us are attracted to physical looks. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna fool myself. But it's not, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder. All right? If you know you look good and you look good to your mate, that's all that matters. All right? But you first gotta love yourself. Don't let nobody discourage you from saying you're not a joint heir in God's throne. Don't let nobody encourage you to tell you you don't look good for yourself. When you wake up in the morning and you see yourself and you see you got room for improvement, then you know you're living. You know you're on top of the ground and under the ground. All right? But you gotta know you look good for yourself. Now, even if my mate don't tell me I look good, I'm going to get dressed and look good for me. Because that's what I want to do. So we got to get what? Our life in balance. And that we can get that happy feeling back. All right? Now, using the Garden of Eden thing again now. Normally when we're in Eden, we feel happy. We feel strong emotional connection to each other. And you are back in love again. Now, in love in a relationship, in love and love are two different things. Sister Peggy told you last night, and I meditated on that thing all night. She said, this her first husband has been married twice. That thing got me. I'm like, wow. But that's her reality. In her mind, that's her reality. She found what God sent her now. So now she's able to connect to the whole piece. And so I think we gotta get in balance with ourselves. You know, my equilibrium was off one time, so I couldn't stand up straight. I was always falling, didn't have no energy, didn't have this, didn't have that, because I had some things in my life not in balance. I was eating things I shouldn't eat. I was drinking things I shouldn't drink. I was doing things, I was not resting. I was not doing the things that will order my steps to do the right things. Now, I jump to the third party influences. Beware of those people again. Why? Because, once again, they don't know the real story. They only know what you tell them. So in that, when we're outside of the will of God, that's what makes us unhappy. When everything, you start nitpicking. Well, I don't like your hair. Well, I don't like you doing that. Well, Sally looked at you. Well, Jim eyed you up and down. Well, you better be glad somebody looking at her. Better be glad somebody looking at her. Guess what? That means you got something. If ain't nobody commenting on what you got, hello somebody. But then we could be asked to pick again. You don't got to tell me you look good, honey. I know you look good. He mine. You know, so we have to keep that thing together. Gotta keep it tight. And you gotta know who you are. Now you gotta know your mate too. Now you gotta know that now. You know, that's why you should take time to really learn each other. You know, you gotta really know what a person's heart is. You gotta know how much they gonna bend, where they gonna go, what will they do for you. Now, there was a movie one time that really came out to be true too about the guy. He said, if you really love a girl, you'll give her your last. What movie was that? That was a movie too, I think. Well, and then one dude ate the last piece of cake. He supposed to gave it to her, you know. So you got to know, you know, if a person really gonna, are they really gonna be about, because everybody got a game now. You know, most men, when they chase you, they gonna have some kind of play in them. But after that play, when all that is over, then, I mean, what you really have left is the heart of the person. You know, you ain't gonna, if you talk to them long enough, I promise you, you're gonna get what their really heart is gonna come out. They're gonna speak at some point. Now, sin comes into the place with the third parties. The serpent convinced Eve to be disobedient. Now, that goes vice versa now. That goes what a man he goes outside and he just wants something extra because why? Something within himself is not happy there. Every house is not a home. A bed ain't gonna buy you no sleep. No matter how much you put in there, no matter what kind of $8,000 bed you buy, $1 million house, it ain't. I seen a lot of nice homes empty on the inside and broken on the inside because for who you are. I just ain't gonna walk out of a situation now because all of a sudden I am unhappy. But we can't let the forces of the third parties get us. I never listed the forces. Well, I mentioned in-laws, I mentioned friends, but your children can be your third party. Well, they know how to come in just at the right time and mess up something. Your job, your circumstances on your job, the circumstances in life. You may be experiencing other difficulties where you can't satisfy each other. Then the big one that the young people are having, I don't think middle-aged people having this one no more, baby mama, baby daddy drama. I'm just saying I'm just trying to keep it real today. That can be some major issues. You know, you with somebody else and you never close that door with them, and she want her child to be, she don't care nothing about your new wife or your new situation. So all she want to see is her money. Hey, hello, somebody. That's why we have to keep things into perspective. Then folk try to bring up your past. I try to tell people yesterday is a cancel check. Tomorrow's a promissory note. Today is the only cash you have. And it's a gift from God. That's why it's called the present. So we can't worry about past failures. We can't worry about what you did on yesterday.